Hey everyone, just wanted to give you a quick heads up. The second Global Product Owner Summit is coming soon. You can get all the details at bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. That's bit.ly/Product Owner 2024. And it's all lowercase, all one word. Oh, and stick with us until the end of the episode to know the dates and the tracks that we have for you in this year's summit. But for now, let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday, the Leading Change episode this week with Tom Baldwin. Hey, Tom, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Vasco.
So, Tom, on Wednesdays, we talk about change. And, after all, we work with change every single day as Scrum Masters, whether it be a personal, team level, or even organizational level change. Now, we want to talk about this because there's a lot of lessons we need to learn about how to help change along. We can't push change, but we can lead change. That's why we like to call this the change leadership episode. So, Tom, share with us a story of a change process that you were part of and walk us through the steps, like how it went from beginning to the end. And as you go through those different steps, highlight for us the tools, the tips, the tricks, and the techniques you learned back then that you still apply today.
Well, this was the same company that had the punch up stand up, sort of.
That's the Monday episode for everybody.
And this is, funnily enough, I mean, it's one of my proudest achievements. Is this? So when I joined the company, I think it was in the November time. It's early November. I'd had the interview late October, and I know they had this very hard deadline that was almost going to be company defining whether it lives or dies sort of project due. And that was due in March. So we had sort of like 4 and a bit months to try and get things sorted out. So that's whilst fixing all the other little intricacies and little dysfunctions and patterns, because the metrics suggested that the way they were going, they weren't going to hit that deadline. It was going to be delivered about 3 months late. So if you imagine that you've got that focus and the sort of realization that just more of the same isn't going to work. So we did have to get a lot of those anti-patterns and dysfunctions sorted out very, very quickly. And I worked in conjunction. Once I'd sort of got a lot of the basic things like how to do a daily scrum in the morning and how to look at your own metrics, how to build a team and all that sort of bits and pieces. I started working with the organizational design consultant that the CEO coincidentally had hired. And she also went round and did all the one-to-one interviews with people, and a lot of the people, the developers and whatnot, were kind enough to say some nice things about me, which helped. So we kind of struck up a good working relationship. So I was able to sort of give her an overarching view of what an agile organization might look like, and so that really helped with her sort of talking to the CEO and the C-suite, and because she was considered to be expert in that sort of area. And it was a case of knowing, well, this is where we are, this is what we'd like to be, so the as is, the current state and the future state where we'd like to be, and it's just a case of simplification and trying to stop wasting time on things we don't need to do.
What do you mean by it's just a case of simplification?
Well, everything is. That's the whole thing about agile, isn't it? If you can knock out a root cause, you're looking at 5 different symptoms and you knock out the simple root cause something. Well, I'll give you an example. I think don't manage complexity, break it was the phrase. It's Doc Norton's saying, isn't it? So he was sort of saying the notion here is instead of trying to have 5 different types of computer system interacting with each other, find a way, strangler patterns, whatever it is, to simplify things, to get it into one modern day system instead of using a legacy system which is going out of date. Try and simplify things and it will make it easier for people to understand. But we've got to understand agile. If we look it up in the dictionary, if we look up agility, it says the ability to move quickly and easily. So we've got to be, the way to do that is by making things simpler. And that's really agile principle number 10, isn't it? Simplicity.
Simplicity, the art of maximizing the work not done.
Oh, yes. Yes. So if we're, and it all ties in, doesn't it, with Taiichi Ohno's 7 wastes. We're trying to shorten the timeline from when the customer places the order and we collect the money. You're trying to I think that was one of the things is why the Lean and the Americans didn't quite get it in the way that they should do. They thought it was just like reducing the per unit cost. No, Taiichi was saying that get the thing quicker. That's the whole point of it. And that ties in with, it's what the notion behind this book I'm trying to write is trying to get across to people that if it's hard work, you're doing it wrong. Right. So we've got to be trying to find ways to make the improvement of, and in my sort of 4-stage process, the Vasco Duerte bit, I'm afraid that's stage 4. That's like the big speed sort of way of doing things. But the other, you've got to start by getting your team sorted out. Then you've got the second part is really getting the managers, because now you're taking some work away from them. You've got to find useful work for them to do. So that's like the second phase. And then you've got to get HR and finance on board with it. That's really the third stage. Because if they're still insisting everybody's filling in timesheets and you think, well, we're trying to work with a flow system, it's not going to. And then the final bit really is, if you can get throughput accounting and you can get all that flow and the nice, that sort of stuff, and trying to get the management pipeline, as we call it. So trying to get people, if we think of a developer can become a Scrum Master can become an Agile Coach, an Agile Coach can become, think of that itself as a pipeline. We're trying to get that movement up through the business. So everybody's got experience and it's like a spiraling upwards. So everybody has got this experience and knowledge. So anyway, sorry, I've come down off my soapbox. So back to the question then.
So you were working with this organizational design consultant. You were talking about how an agile organization would look like, and then what happened next?
Well, what I start to do is there was a gentleman who's was fairly senior, a very charismatic fellow, but he came from a project management background, and he was asking me to, of course, to do a roadmap for all these changes. And I'm thinking, well, do you not understand the very problem we're trying to solve? This is also complex. You're trying to move away. We've accepted that maybe the one big plan doesn't work. But so what I did, I gave him access to my little Kanban board of just, these are different areas. This is in progress at the moment. This is the rate at which we're getting things done and that sort of thing. But yes, if we carry on at the current rates, we should be getting this sort of piece of work done around that sort of time. And that, broad brush strokes. Sorry, I get my. So it was a case of sorting out a little bit of the politics and getting people to work together across various different departments and all that sort of stuff. And I say it's just like scaling up. You see these precisely the same sort of things going on in a small Scrum team, don't you? Where say you've got a QA, you've got a front end guy, a back end guy. It's like it's saying to people, it's not about you, it's about the team. It's about that synergy.
You showed like concrete progress information to this person who was asking for a big plan or roadmap, as you call it. So being transparent about progress is also a key
metrics
aspect.
On the wall, dashboards on the wall, so you could see that this is the.
But 4 months ahead, like how did you get people to take that leap of faith, right, and to say yes, let's do it this way?
I think I was lucky, to be honest. It's like the second guy coming in, the fella who was in charge, he reminded me, although he was like 10, 15 years older than I was, he reminded me of like a younger version of myself. He'd have what I call the misfortune of having great results, doing things maybe not the perfect way, and then thinking you just copy and paste. So people had already given it a go, and now they were at that stage where they were keen to learn, thinking, well, why isn't this working? We've heard all these great things about Agile and Lean and all that sort of stuff. Why are we struggling here? And so they were reasonably receptive to me. So I was quite lucky that I could sort of sweep in there. And it's one of my little techniques I use is, these one-to-one conversations. I often go, well, this is my magic pen here. I say, pretend that I'm your fairy godmother and I could grant you 2 wishes that will make your working life a little bit easier each day. What would they be? Now, some people, they've got thousands of things. Other people, you have to press them a little bit, But it's like saying, come on, imagine you got a stone in your shoe each day. What is something that's annoying you? So I try and, it doesn't matter if I'm talking to a developer in a team, if it's a manager above them, it doesn't matter if it's a director, everybody's got at least something there.
And that helps us also to focus the change, right? Because once we solve real problems for real people, then they're on board because that's what they want.
Yeah, and the essential thing is if you can try and solve these problems in 2 or 3 days, so you're there looking for what's the quickest, the simplest, easiest thing I can do here, because that builds trust. And I call it like what we want is I call it the 3 T's of transparency, teamwork, and trust. And it's like trust. The more people trust each other, the more open they are and transparent with each other. And then the better they can work together as a team. The better they work together as a team, the more they're going to trust each other. And so you get this virtuous circle. So that's
virtuous circle, exactly.
Yeah, so that's what you're trying to do. So
and we have to do this at all levels, right? Like
absolutely.
At the team level, across teams, within the department, etc., etc.
Yeah. So if you have a way of, you're trying to simplify the business, you're trying to make people get along better with each other. We're trying to make sure we're in alignment. It's like magnetism. We're trying to all be pointing in the same direction. And you're trying to just remove dysfunction because that's painful. It's going to be painful for some, but it may not be the person who's doing the dysfunction who receives the pain, but it's going to be causing pain elsewhere. So if we can solve problems quickly that are easy to solve, it helps build trust and you build a rapport with people. And, it's just win-win. That's what we want to be trying to achieve for everybody. We're trying to do it in a way where people don't lose face, aren't we?
And that building trust, of course, is one of the key things that we need to have in mind as change agents, because that's our capital, right? Like the more trust we have, the more we can get done. If we don't have trust, then we need to invest in getting that trust.
Yeah. I mean, and it can be, sometimes you realize it doesn't matter what I say to this person. It's not going to change anything, but I get on really well with Bob, and Bob gets on really well with Alice. And then, maybe we can use that circuitous, slightly devious, but
find the early adopters and your allies for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that story, Tom.
Thank you.
Hi there, Agile friends. Thank you for sticking around and listening to the details of the Product Owner Summit, this year's global summit dedicated to a critical Scrum role, the Product Owner role, of course. We'll have some amazing keynotes and 4 tracks filled with first-hand stories and experiences for product owners to learn more about that critical Scrum role. The summit will take place between April 23rd and 25th, so book your calendars. There will be loads of sessions for you to attend. One of the keynotes will be Dave West, the product owner and CEO at Scrum.org, one of the largest Scrum organizations in the world. If you want to know more, check out the details at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all one word, all lowercase, bit.ly/product owner 2024. We will also have 4 tracks. The 4 tracks will cover cross-functional product ownership. That's track 1. As Pixar's Ratatouille said, not every idea can be a great idea, but a great idea can come from anywhere. And this quote emphasizes the importance of a product owner being open to all ideas, regardless of the source, and also challenges us to focus on getting good ideas from everywhere and involving the whole team in the product owner role and responsibilities. The second track is Designing Products for Growth, where we explore how to craft products ready for scalable growth, merging practical strategies with innovation. The idea here is to learn to design products for growth, whether it is sales or customer acquisition. The third track is Know Your Users, user-centric approaches for agile development. In this track, we learn to master user-centric techniques in agile development, to deeply understand customer needs and transform insights into meaningful UX designs that focus on engagement and satisfaction. This is a track ideal for innovation-focused agile teams. And the fourth track, one of the most exciting tracks in my opinion, is product development with AI, ideas for product owners. Not only do we discuss about using AI in the products, but also AI for product owners to learn to make a bigger impact with the help of the AI tools that we already have. The Product Owner Summit will also present to you great opportunities to network with your peers. So get your ticket and join our Slack. You can get the ticket and join the Slack at bit.ly/product owner 2024. As always, we have free tickets and also the paid tickets that help to support this podcast. So check them out at bit.ly/product owner 2024. That's all lowercase, all one word, product owner 2024. I'll see you in the summit floor.